Hello, good day, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It depends the area you are watching from. Welcome to, if you are watching from YouTube, I will say welcome to Mirror African Television. If you are watching from Facebook, I will say welcome to my page, Zebedi Ejike Korea. On today's program, it will be a little bit long or longer as usual because I would like to remind our people, um, before we reach where we are today, where we started from. You get how everything originated, how a lot of things started. So, and the problem in Ukraine is the topic of today because a lot of things is popping up. The world is changing rapidly. A lot of things is getting out of hand. And some leaders are losing their powers. And some other countries are taking over the new order of the day. And as most of us knows and understand things, empires don't give up without a fight. And whenever empires start going down, they start fighting a lot of wars, thinking that they will use war to intimidate a lot of people to stand back, not to come forward to take what belongs to them. United States and Britain have ruled the planet for decades. Most of you that don't normally read history, it's also made for us that do come across some stories, that things that happened before, and will air it so that most of you will now pick interest and go and research for it and now read it deep and understand it more better. Then you will start seeing where a lot of problems started coming from. Let me just give you people a little story. Before the Western Empire become empires or understand what is dominance or encroachment to other people's territory, Chinese dynasty has been the largest, the most developed, with lot of technology, the gunpowder that everybody is using today to build bomb, rocket, everything. It was Chinese technology. Before the Western nation knows how to sell with ship, Chinese has been visiting Africa, East African nations, doing their things. Chinese possess the largest military on planet. I know that most of you have heard about the Chinese war. Sorry, I'm sick, but I still am forcing myself to make these videos. If you know about the Chinese wall, you will see how large that wall is. Even till today, I can't even count how many countries that possess the technology or know how to build such a wall. Sorry, to seal themselves up. Do you know that the Chinese travel all over the globe with their vast military and marine? But due to Chinese, Indians, and some other Asian countries, including Africa, has similar ideology. They don't dominate or seize or plunder things that never belongs to them. As Chinese has everything, their agricultural sector was so large and powerful. What do? The worst mistake of their life. Because you don't prevent yourself from developing. Always keep the door open so that you will keep on innovating. New things will be emerging and it will be also, going up. Had it been Chinese like the Western world of today, all the whole world will be speaking Chinese. I mean the Western nations. By the time I'm saying this, up to 80% of Chinese or 90% are blacks. They are like us. They are like black Indians. Not the white that came yesterday during the colonial masters, wherever they go. Only in Nigeria they did not succeed in changing our colors. Normally, wherever the West dominate, they do change it. They call it whitening. They change everything. From China to Japan to Indonesia, all those areas, they are all blacks. All blacks. Chinese, with Chinese face. They are not black like me. They are black like me, but they have the Chinese face. They have the Indonesia. All their faces are there, but they are indigenous black people. So with time, Chinese lock themselves from the world. They have everything they need. There is no need of expecting whatever, even though one small ingredient. They have everything they need. They build that wall, they lock themselves. Imagine the people that visited Europe. Europe's were sleeping under the stone. They are like animals. They are not civilized, as they do tell you today, uncivilized worlds. They are the ones that were uncivilized. When Africans, West Africa, started traveling to South America, the West haven't even started wearing pint. They were still living with their animals in the same room, falling from one sickness to the other. Yes, I'm telling you the truth. Africans never have that zeal with the Chinese to dominate, to conquer, to take over whatever that never belongs to them. They travel places and they live. They drop gift. If you go to South America, you will see gift from West African nations. They drop in those areas. Like if they come, they meet the kings and they will exchange gifts and they will leave. Like knowing each other. People like us are there, the other side of the world, and we know that these people are on the other side of the world. That's how the world functioned before. So China locked themselves up. Before China realized what is going on, because they don't go out again, they don't sell, their fish, ships were destroyed. They are no longer capable, but they are confident, they are okay. Nothing is stopping them. Then the British visited them and asked them, why are you not trading? They said, why should we trade? We have everything we need. We don't need to trade with you, nor with anybody. Please leave. And the British look around, them criminals. They see a lot of treasures lying around that need to be taken care of. They now went and informed their king and queen. They now move in with battalions of military and they took over China. Win their king, take over China and start ruling over them. The people that visited their territory just exchange gifts, introduce themselves, stay some days, eat, and leave. You going back to return that thing is to dominate them, take over their things. And that sentiment, that lifestyle, never disappeared. And let me tell you something. I have been living with white people for almost 21 years now. I can be able to predict them. All these things they are doing is not a policy that was written that somebody must respect. It's their lifestyle. A normal Westerner sees you as somebody who has no sense, even though she or he is an illiterate and you're a professor from Nigeria. If you come to Germany, they will look at you. Who are you? Who is your father? Where are you from that you want to lecture me? It's a drunkard sitting on the street. But as far as you are black, you are shit. You are nobody to them. It's part of them. That ego is in them. Not that they see Africans and they start changing, and they see Asians, they start changing. No, it's them. People that visited your territory, they saw that your people has their way of life. They have their religion. They have their culture. They said all that you are doing is dirty, evil, and stupid. And they need to destroy, even though your language is not sounding civilized. They need to change your tongue. You must, even your name must be changed. They will call you what you will answer, the name you will bear. They change everything about you. Turning you like an animal, like their dog, like something they possess. They do everything. That's how they see every other person around the world, as their treasure that they possess. Let me leave China a bit and jump to Russia. Russia, some part of Russia is in Europe, the other part is in Asia. Russia is vast. In their map, you think that Russia is bigger than Africa. No, that is Western. Also, that same Western, everything about them must be great, large. Others will be small and little. They change the whole diameter of map. If you change the kilometer, Africa, how many kilometers from beginning to the end? And change the kilometer of Russia, even though United States, you will say that, but why is the big picture bigger than this one? That is what I'm telling you. That's how they want the world to see them. And you don't dare do anything about it. They will come after you. Like United States today, you don't dare build the technology that will challenge Google, challenge iPhone, challenge their semiconductor, challenge any of their tech. They will sanction you. They will cripple that country and cripple that company. If you want to survive, if you want to be that, you have to relocate to US and become American-made tech. Yeah. Then you will sell and grow. But from Africa or Asia, you are a threat. That's how it works. Yes. So, the reason I'm doing this thing now is because I came to this country and I tried to, because I dropped out from Nigeria and I came to Germany. I said I must complete my school. I enter school. So, I love history, you know. I tumble on top of German history, even though the history, German history that I read is what made me to stop going to church. All those things you guys are believing, you know. You will read, you know, nobody tells you that the God you worship is a dead God. Normally, God, that G-O-D, never dies. You know, so I saw a lot of things in German history that made me to withdraw from the religion they brought to Africa. They themselves has cathedral here and it's full of bush. Nobody goes there. They don't go there. They gave you Bible. They don't read it. If you ask them why, they said it manipulates your brain. It makes you to remain loyal to order. You know, so they don't read it. It's made for you. They brought that religion to, you know. So without not deviating, as I was studying, I came across a lot of things. I even saw the history about German before. German, France, even though Russia was part of Germany before, they were almost one country, both Austria, you know. And later, Poland existed 3 times in history. Poland existed, disappeared, and later come back again as a small country, disappeared again, and later come back again, you know. Like the Kurdistan of the Middle East. Kurdistan is nowhere to be found in the map. But one day, they will still emerge. That's how history works, you know. So by that time, Russia and Germany, people do ask, why so close? Why do Russians like? They were one people before, you know. And you know, the West, they like to create borders, you know. They like to build borders. And whenever border is established, division will come between 2 brothers. Even though, like we Nigerians, Igbo people, we do share the properties of our fathers after they are late. you will see that the family will be moving smoothly, fine, without any headache. Immediately they divide the property of their fathers. Division enters inside them. And our people have not realized those things. But if you leave it, whosoever that want to farm, go there and farm, you will see one brotherhood. You will see love. You will see that they will keep on excelling, you know. You will see that the members will buy land and live the family, and that bondness stays together. Sorry, I said blind together. That's a German popping up, you know. So in Germany and Russia, they have bond, they have unity, they have that brotherhood that started from ages, and two of them knows it. But somebody keep on separating them. Who is that? Is Britain. Britain keeps on seeing that the unity of these two brothers will push down the authority of the kingdom of Britain. Yes, the problem is kingdom. The order that orders and control for now. If two of them comes together, things will fall out of hand. So as British Empire is going down, they hand over that of authority to United States. And US started where they stopped. But corruption has penetrated United States to the extent today, US is in decline, heavy decline. Not that they are not good. United States itself is good, but the political system of US is racist, is corrupt, and is very dangerous to the development of the planet. And never you forget the imposition of nuclear weapon with all this crime and bad people around it. So they are like ticking bomb. Look at what is going on in Ukraine today. Just take a look. Why must president of a nation, elected president, that has not up to 3 months to new election, Yanukovych of Ukraine, next election is not up to 3 months to conduct election. 3 months is too much. 90 days is too delayed, too much for the West to endure to vote that man out of office and allow their own person to get into power. No, he must be overthrown and brought to justice. Okay, they did that. Some part of the country where the man is from Crimea, and that eastern part of Ukraine said that, no, we are not going to accept this order, that neo-Nazi is going to take the order of the day. That never happened since end of the Second World War. It will never happen in Ukraine. And if it do happen, they will never accept the government. What is the problem? America want to seize Crimea to be their military base in Crimea. That's all. That's why the Ukrainians are dying today. That's why the president of Ukraine, his eyes, his mouth is full with euro and dollars, that he can no longer see his people, military, dying in war front. He never knew, know the word of withdraw and later attack. No, it's only if worse come to worse, die there. Never you withdraw. Such people are not qualified to call the commander-in-chief. They are commander-in-bank, wallet, and slave of people that know nothing about your people. Ukrainians never existed before. There is nothing like Ukraine in the whole history that I have went through. Nothing like Ukraine until this 1990 that Soviet collapsed. They are Russians. Yes, there is nothing like Ukraine. But they will try to forge whatever to sell to you. I have never come across it. But before this problem started, that's why I said that this video may be length, it may be long. I want to play the video of Russian president addressing United Nations for you to listen. He's speaking Russian language, but Somebody is interpreting. I want you to listen. Please do me that favor.
In 1945, the countries that defeated Nazism joined their efforts to lay solid foundations for the post-war world order. Let me remind you that the key decisions on the principles guiding the cooperation among states, as well as on the establishment of the United Nations, were made in our country, in Yalta, at the meeting of the anti-Hitler coalition leaders. The Yalta system was actually won in travail. It was won at the cost of tens of millions of lives and 2 world wars. They swept through the planet in the 20th century. Let us be fair. It helped the humanity through turbulent, at times dramatic, events of the last 7 decades. It saved the world from large-scale upheavals. The United Nations is unique in its legitimacy, representation, and universality. It is true that lately the UN has been widely criticized for supposedly not being efficient enough and for the fact that the decision-making on fundamental issues stalls due to insurmountable differences, first of all among the members of the Security Council. However, I would like to point out that there have always been differences in the UN throughout all these 70 years of existence. The veto right has always been exercised by the United States, the United Kingdom, France, China, the Soviet Union, and Russia later alike. It is absolutely natural for so diverse and representative an organization. When the UN was established, its founders did not in the least think that there would always be unanimity. The mission of the organization is to seek and reach compromises, and its strength comes from taking different views and opinions into consideration. The decisions debated within the UN are either taken as resolutions or not. As diplomats say, they either pass or do not pass. Whatever actions any state might take by passing this procedure are illegitimate. They run counter to the UN Charter and defy international law. We all know that after the end of the Cold War, everyone is aware of that, a single center of domination emerged in the world, and then those who found themselves at the top of the pyramid were tempted to think that if they were so strong and exceptional, they knew better, and they do not have to reckon with the UN, which instead of automatically authorize and legitimize the necessary decisions, often creates obstacles, or in other words, stands in the way. It has now become commonplace to say that it is, in its original form, has become obsolete and completed its historical mission. Of course, the world is changing, and the UN must be consistent with this natural transformation. Russia stands ready to work together with its partners on the basis
So, sorry, the video is too long. Let me help you to analyze what he's saying. Sorry for that. What the Russian president was saying to the United Nations is that since the fall of Soviet Union, United States, Britain, and the West has been using the world as football, dictating their will. Imagine in a situation where riot is going on in Iran. Let me use example Iran. Iran is a sovereign nation that possesses the right to control whatever that happens in their land. And whenever a riot occurs in any country, the government is obliged to put and push for law and order to regain its position in that country. The West will sit in their own comfort zone, supporting the people on the street, dictating to the government that need to put or control the affairs, no matter whatever that conspired, that caused that riot. The government must bring it under control. But they will be putting fuel inside fire and still dictating, even placing sanction on those countries that want to control those riots. Let me give you another example. Maybe Iran is too far. Nigeria. During the time of Goodluck Jonathan, when Jonathan was running his government, and the terrorists of today were forcing themselves to get out of control, Jonathan gave the army every instrument they need to push the terrorists back to where they belong, even nearly wiping them out of this planet. The only help America, Britain, and the Western world have they rendered to Nigeria, wonderful help that helped Nigeria to where we are today. Do you know the help they gave to us? They never they condemned Nigeria. They condemned Goodluck Jonathan in their national television. How he was using the name of terrorist to kill ordinary civilians of Nigeria. And for that reason, Nigeria was ordering weapons to do away with these terrorists. America placed sanction, arm embargo on the government of Goodluck Jonathan for them not to have the ability to wipe terrorists out of Nigeria. Is that not wonderful? They love us so much as we love them. That is the West. On that day, Nigerians, the ones that has brain, start understanding any terrorist that never belongs to them, they will sanction even though the fly that flies over the terrain where the terrorists operate. They will make sure that those terrorists, their money never float through bank. But in Nigeria, all the whole weapon that America is claiming that they are dumping in Ukraine, 80% of it is landing in Nigeria. To empower the terrorists more for them to overpower the government of Nigeria is underground project. Those ones are the underground projects. And the Northerners may be asking, why us? Why we? Yeah. That's how they also manipulated the assassination of Ahmadu Bello. I will never stop talking about Ahmadu Bello until people start talking about it, until the main investigation will start, so that the name of the Igbos will be clean in the hands of Nigerians. The West assassinated Ahmadu Bello and other northern elites that refused to bow from their demand of building refineries all over Nigeria. Yes. Do you know? Oh, I don't know. I don't want to go those areas. But those things that Nigeria is suffering today, Russians knows the game. They know how the West operate. Those things antagonize them. They don't like to see it. So if they are pushing back, the West are asking, what type of white people are they? They are Europeans, but they are not Europeans enough. By not seeing the ways of the white people is racism against any other race on planet. Do you know that the Nazi that all of us call the Nazi Germany, their inspiration of Nazism was adopted from United States? I said, whatever that touches hand dies. Look at Europe. They use Europe as a vessel to accomplish the project in Ukraine. Look at Europe. The economy, all the whole companies in Europe are now relocating to United States. Water that we normally buy cent is going to 2 to 3 euro per liter. Things are falling out of hand. The people that want to organize demonstration in Germany are being labeled terrorists. The political opponents, the oppositions in the parliament that started asking questions, you have not spent up to 1 year in power. All our industrial power has collapsed. Everything that we have has disappeared. The respect we possess is nowhere to be found. Today, the government in power with the Democrat of United States and American Secret Service are working in tandem to place them as terror so that they will kick the opposition out of the so-called democratic Europeans. As I'm talking to you now, before the war in Ukraine started, Russia cried for years, I don't want to interfere in your group. You call yourself NATO. I don't want to get myself involved in whatever you are doing. All I am begging for, please don't come closer to me. Remain where you are. You promise Soviet Union that you will never move an inch if German join. You betray all the whole agreement. Both nuclear agreement, every agreement you have with the West, every agreement I said, I did not say some, every agreement is because their knees are still on the ground. If they stand up, that agreement is null and void. If they come that you should sign an agreement with them, reach an accord, because from that time, you are still on top. If they have anything to challenge you, that accord will no longer have values. Today, American and European ideology is now superseding the United Nations international made law. They bridge it, they do it as they like. Why? Because international monitoring system is in their palm. As our people normally says in Igbo language, agbara akpakọta ike agwụ osisi ejiri tụọ ya. If evil spirit or spirit disturb so much, they will tell you the wood that was used to mold you. That is a say in Igbo language. China and Russia have endured enough, watched enough, stayed calm so much. To the extent their own economy is growing today, and they are now being labeled as threat. The same people that they join hands to create the international community are now working to dethrone them and destroy their system. Now, Russia and China, India, Brazil, and South Africa came together to tell America and Britain the type of wood that was used to mold them. That is, these people are now creating a different interbank transacting or interbank messaging system like SWIFT. They have developed it, and they are now working to share it around the world. If you like to do business with dollar and euro, you use their SWIFT. But if you want to work with free world order, you have to work with the BRICS. It's a lie. That's why war must break in Ukraine. And that war is not the last. As I'm talking to you now, another war is about to break in Europe, Kosovo, and I think Serbia, whatever. I think this Serbia is the Kosovo, and the other, they are one state that America seized after Yugoslavia war. America seized a particular portion and gave them independence. Yes. They recognize them. You enter somebody's country, you seize the territory, you mount your military, you do everything, you put them into NATO, you do all sorts of your things. Now they are using those people now, indirectly try to open a second front for Russia. You see how they operate? And the West, the Europeans are playing along. To the extent, the Russian president was saying that the world is coming closer to a nuclear Armageddon. Why? Russia will never be alive and allow America and the West to give them time to go to bed, eat, and do their thing. Instead of it, nobody will rule nor live on this planet. Ukrainians are losing. Ukrainian military are dying. British media is busy giving Russian military name, calling them grander. They are granding the life of Ukrainian military. Do you know that? Do you know what they call a battalion of military? Russians are killing them per day. In one city, they call Bakhmut. They are killing lots of Ukrainians. And what are the West doing? Ordering the president to push more military there. They are not the one dying. It's not their people. Do you need dollars? Do you need euro? If you need it, push your people there. And they will tell Mr. Printer, please design dollar for Ukraine and print it out. Paper and ink is what they are using to replace the life of human beings in Ukraine. That one is even not enough. They are now going out for Ukrainian Orthodox Church, trying to dismantle their people. That's how America, that's how the West operate. They will do, Ukraine will do, if they fail to kick out their president, the Western world will tarnish anything Ukraine. There will be nothing like Ukraine. You can't read them. You can't even find them in the map. They will destroy them, and they will leave, and they will look for a new offer. Like in Asia, as they want to use Taiwan. That's how they operate. They came to Africa, they destroyed Libya. Libya, that is giving credit to countries of the planet, are today selling human beings as slaves. They went to Syria. Syria, that possessed the largest engineers and doctors on planet, are today begging for food. They are now eyeing Iran. But I know they cannot do shit in Iran. Yes. They already curtailed Ukraine. Ukraine is in their trap. And they are grounding Ukrainians. What are they giving to you? Equipment. Now, they tell Ukraine, send their rocket inside Russia. They did. Russia never retaliated. Russia was watching. Do you know what America says? Okay. It's like they are also afraid of war. Ukraine, we are going to green light a rocket that will shoot inside Russia. You are now getting green light to fire inside Russia. Who own the weapon? And we are not part of the war, but we will support Ukraine with every high-end technology that they need to defend themselves. Yes, but we are not part of the war. If any part of NATO is attacked, is collective, we must respond. Go and ask Turkey if they will join you. I don't think that, because the only military they are depending on, the only military that will make NATO to go to war with Russia is Turkey. They want Russia to kill Turkish people. They want Russia to nuke Turkey And if Turkey joined the fight and Russia nuked Turkey, my guy, they will not nuke Russia. Rather, they will go for peace talk. By that time, Turkey's ego militarily has been destroyed entirely. I believe that Turkish people got to be wise enough, because after American soldier in American military mind in NATO, the next one is Turkey. You don't count Germany, you don't count France. These ones are mine. And Russians are not even seeing those ones. But one thing you have to ask the Americans: are you ready to to secure Ukraine and allow Russia to destroy half of America with nukes? They are not ready to do it. But they will do it only to push others to go and die on their behalf. And they will repeat to you what they said the first day that the war started, that NATO is not part of it. Why did you get involved? You could have allowed them. They know how to deal with Russians. They will tell you this thing without any shames in their eyes. And the Europeans are sitting down, allowing their stupid politicians that are following dollars to keep on pushing them to nuclear war. Listen to the Secretary General of NATO, what he has to say. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. Our guest today is Jens Stoltenberg. He's NATO's Secretary General and he joins us from Brussels. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Last week, Ukraine struck military targets deep inside Russian territories. We're also hearing that the US is more inclined to give Kiev longer range weapons. So a very simple question: are you afraid that this is escalating right now? The war in Ukraine could become a broader war.
NATO and NATO allies have two main tasks when it comes to the war in Ukraine. One is to support Ukraine, and we are delivering unprecedented support to Ukraine. The other task is to prevent escalation of the war beyond Ukraine. And we do that partly by making clear that we are not party to the conflict. We don't have NATO troops on the ground. We don't have NATO planes in the air over Ukraine. But we are supporting Ukraine in the right to defend themselves, a right of self-defense which is enshrined in the UN Charter. We're also preventing escalation beyond Ukraine by increasing our presence in the eastern part of the alliance. We have more NATO troops, we have more ships, planes in the eastern part of the alliance now than any time since the Cold War. To send a clear message to Moscow that an attack on one ally will trigger a response from the whole alliance. And we do that not to provoke a conflict, but to prevent a conflict, to preserve peace. So we are very focused on preventing escalation of the war.
Right, but we know the Russian president has said supplying long-range missiles would be crossing a line. Are you in favor of providing Ukraine such long-range weapons? Ukraine has been demanding it, and it seems Washington is now thinking about this. Are you in favor of such a move?
First of all, we have already provided a lot of advanced weapons, including HIMARS, which are long-range precision weapons. And we have also provided other types of advanced weapon systems to Ukraine. There's a constant assessment of what more types of systems that need to be provided to Ukraine. But let me also say that I think that we should not only focus on new systems. We should also focus on making sure that the systems that are already there are functioning, are working as they should, meaning that we need to ensure a constant flow of ammunition, spare parts, and maintenance of existing systems, artillery pieces, howitzers, Caesars, HIMARS. We also have armored vehicles. We have air defense systems. All of these systems which are already in Ukraine have to work as they should, and that requires a lot of supplies of ammunition, spare parts, and maintenance.
Right, but you don't rule out delivering those weapons we just discussed.
Well, as I said, we have already delivered, for instance, HIMARS, but I will not go into specific systems. That is a dialogue which is constantly going on between NATO allies, partners, and of course with Ukraine.
Vladimir Putin said the danger of a nuclear war was growing. Do you agree with him?
We have made it very clear to President Putin, to Moscow, that any use of nuclear weapons in Ukraine will have severe consequences for Russia, dramatic consequences for Russia, that the nuclear war cannot be won and should never be fought. And we are monitoring very closely what Russia is doing. So far, we haven't seen any changes in their nuclear posture that require any changes from our side. But we continue to be vigilant to monitor closely what Russia does. The likelihood of any use of nuclear weapons in Ukraine by Russia remains still low, but the potential consequences are so big. So the risk is something we have to take seriously, and that's exactly what the NATO allies are doing. Also by saying that President Putin's nuclear rhetoric, his references to the potential use of nuclear weapons, is by itself reckless and dangerous.
Right. The French President Emmanuel Macron said recently that Western countries needed to provide security guarantees to Russia the day it comes back to the negotiating table. And he said one of the essential points we must address is the fear that NATO comes right to the doors of Russia. This created a furious reaction in Eastern Europe, in Ukraine. Do you agree with the French President that such security guarantees will need to be given to Russia, or that is not the time to talk about this?
The most immediate and important task now is to support Ukraine to ensure that they are able to prevail and survive as a sovereign, independent, democratic nation in Ukraine, in Europe. Then I believe that at some stage also this war will end at the negotiating table. But what we do know is that what happens around that negotiating table is fundamentally linked to, inextricably linked to the situation on the battlefield. So if we want Ukraine to survive, to remain a sovereign, independent, democratic nation in Europe, we must support Ukraine. That's the best way to achieve a lasting peace, by ensuring that Ukraine is strong so they can achieve an acceptable solution at the negotiating table. It has to be Ukraine that decides when the time is right and what are the acceptable conditions for a peace agreement. And also President Macron stated clearly that has to be Ukraine that decides the moment and the conditions for a peace agreement.
Are you concerned that the Russian strategy of pounding Ukraine's energy infrastructure is actually working?
It's a brutal form of warfare. It's a way to weaponize winter, to deprive civilians, the Ukrainian people, of water, of light, of heating, as we now see winter has come. And it's a brutal form of warfare because it's aimed at millions of civilians. At the same time, I'm absolutely confident that the Ukrainians will not bend, that they will continue to stand up for their country, for their freedom, for the protection of their right to exist as a sovereign nation in Europe.
Right. I want to get to the issue of Sweden and Finland. Secretary of State, U.S. Secretary of State Tony Blinken said last week that he was confident that it would soon enter NATO. We know there is a holdup by Turkey, especially Turkey demanding the extradition by those two countries of people allegedly tied to the PKK or the followers of the exiled preacher Fethullah Gulen. Are you also optimistic that this will be solved very soon?
I'm confident that all allies, including Turkey and Hungary, which are the two allies that have so far not ratified the accession protocols, will do so. I will not speculate about exactly when, but I'm confident that will happen. Not least because we have to remember that the important decision was taken when all NATO leaders met in Madrid at the NATO summit in June this year. All NATO leaders, including Turkey, then decided to invite Finland and Sweden to become NATO allies. All 30 NATO allies also signed the accession protocols, and so far 28 out of 30 allies have already ratified those accession protocols in the national parliaments. So far this has been one of the quickest accession processes in the history of NATO. We have to remember that Finland and Sweden applied in May, and in June we already invited them and signed the accession protocols. Let me also add that Finland and Sweden are in a totally different place now than before they applied. We have more NATO presence in the region. We have bilateral security assurances from the United States, France, Germany, UK, and others. We have Finland and Sweden as invitees, as we say, because they have signed the accession protocol, so they participate in NATO's military, civilian activities, cooperation meetings. So it is inconceivable that if there were any attack or pressure from Russia on Finland and Sweden, that NATO will not react.
Right.
So we have come a long way. I'm certain that we will also have the ratification of two last allies, but we are in a very different place now than before Finland and Sweden applied.
So you expect this to happen within weeks?
Again, I will not speculate about the timing, but I'm saying that we have made important decisions. It was an historic decision for all allies to invite Finland and Sweden. All allies have signed accession protocols, and Finland and Sweden are already participating in NATO's civilian and military activities.
Just as a last question, tensions are flaring in Kosovo. Kosovo's prime minister urged NATO peacekeeping troops to intervene, while the Serbian president said he would ask NATO to let Serbia deploy military and police in Kosovo. How concerned are you about the latest flare-up in Kosovo?
NATO is very focused on Kosovo, the Western Balkans. We have a long history there. We helped to end the two ethnic wars in Bosnia and Herzegovina, then later on in Kosovo, Serbia. And of course, we still have our presence. The NATO KFOR force, close to 4,000 personnel, plays a key role in stabilizing the situation. Our forces are capable, they are ready, they are vigilant, they are following the situation very closely. NATO and the European Union are working closely together, and my message to all parties concerned is to refrain from escalatory rhetoric, from provocative rhetoric and actions, and then to help to reduce tensions in Kosovo.
Jens Stoltenberg, I want to thank you very much for appearing here on the France 24.
So, you have heard him. They are asking him, do you see this war going nuclear? It will be reckless for Russia to nuke Ukraine. We are not talking about Ukraine. Ukraine has no military. Ukraine army finished, let me reduce the volume, sorry. Ukraine army finished about 4 months after the war. Every other thing fighting in Ukraine is from England, United States, Canada, and Poland. They are the people they are the people fighting in Ukraine. Sorry, no other person. No other people. Ukraine has no other people. Most of you never came across the German former chancellor. She killed it all. She was asked, why didn't you pressurize Ukraine to implement the second Minsk agreement so that the world will not be facing this type of problem they are facing today? War is in Ukraine. Sanction is on Russia. Energy scarcity in Europe. Food, inflation is rising. Do you know what she replied? She was fooling Russians to give them time so that NATO will train Ukrainian army to be able to withstand Russia as they are withstanding them today. Go and look. All the whole people wearing the uniform are speaking English and Polish language. Few of them speak Ukraine. About 3,800 or 500 and something women have sent application letter to their federal government and European Union asking their government, where is our husband? Where is our men? They are no longer calling, nor writing, nor coming back home again. Where are they? Government close their mouth. Euro and dollar don't allow them to talk. They are talking about over 3,500 women. What of the single people that has no wife? What of those that have no family? And upon this, the God of European Union, Ursula von der, call it whatever, crazy or something, is telling the world that Ukraine have lost 1,000. If Europeans are giving you 1,000 and Ukrainian women are over 3,500 in number, demanding to know where their husband is, you have to know that over 5,000 to 6,000 Ukrainian soldiers gone. They say that Russians are killing over 5,000 Ukrainians per day, 3,000 wounded per day. That's why Britain called them grinding machine. If you go and read the history of Russian war, around 1714, 13 something with the Ottoman Empire, that's the Turkish of today. When the Turkish Empire took over Romania, Russia stepped in. Turkey was too powerful. Imagine their military land, it nearly conquered the whole Europe and even land to Africa, come into Nigeria. But they were fighting war with Russia. They said that Russia seized some territory as they seize in Ukraine today. In that territory stand Russia, and they grant the whole military power of Ottoman Empire. They did not secure territories. As people are thinking that, why can't Russia secure the whole Ukraine? It's not their system of war. America like to come in, boss, go in, go here, show uniform, do like this, seize territory, and they will start killing them. You see what happened in Iraq? Every day, Americans are dying. Every day. After you secure the whole territories, you are dying every day. But Russians don't secure territory. They only seize some part, and you will be fighting. Looking that it's not up to 20 kilometers, you will push them out. There you will die. That is what they are doing to Ukraine today. Imagine Russia fighting Ukraine. The whole Europe, NATO, and the greatest power on planet, United States, are sending all in to Ukraine. What is going on? What is going on? You send how many tanks? You send how many ammunition? You send how many equipment? You send this smart bomb smart, tracking whatever. You use your satellite, you use your tracking plane. Everything is on Ukrainian side. Even though Starlink of this man, all of them are working against the Russians. Eju Elen Negi. Snell, where is your mama? That is war. And American generals are saying it today that Russians, if they finish this war and win, no country on planet will be able to fight them. Because the experience they gathered here, they have learned all the tricks and cons of NATO's battle warfare. No NATO can stop them. They know where to point at NATO and grant the entire their weapon. And don't forget that Russia possesses the best air defense on planet. And Putin have said it. They have the capability to sit in Russia and give no-fly zone the entire European airspace. They can do it. Turkey tested Americans, air defense, tested Russians and said they need that Russian. America even placed sanction on them because of F-35. They told America, keep that your F-35. I need this air defense. What did Turkey see to leave F-35, the latest jet on planet, to go for air defense, you will know there is something inside. And today, Turkey is developing their own with the help of Russia and Russian technology. So my people, I will say thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for joining. I greet you all. Hassan, I greet you. Ansu, I greet you. Let me see whosoever. Yeah, James, I throw a salute. My people, I greet all of you, both the ones that didn't write, that I can't see your names. I really appreciate you. Sorry the way my voice is sounding. I'm sick. I catch cold. Oh boy, it's not easy, you know. I'm not even sleeping well, coughing all over night, and but sorry, bear with me. I just let me come out and interacting and use the opportunity to forget some other issues, you know. James, Black Mare, I greet all of you. Please, all you can do for me is to share the video. I know that you people are not sending me stars. I have not tested this star before. Nobody they send me star. I don't know how star work. I only see that this one that Facebook giving the opportunity to receive star. My friends are not sending me stars, so please, we could help me with the stars. Share the videos, invite others. I will be coming live to push out these videos so that we will be able to update ourselves. So thank you very much. I have taken much of your time today. I am very sorry. Tomorrow will be shorter than today. So bye-bye for now. I love you all. Greetings, my people. Greetings to all of you.